Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to bring the meeting, regular township meeting for May 8th. I'd like to call it to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Trustee Michael Lewandowski. Here. Trustee John Bodisich. Here. Assessor Debbie Mason. Here. Supervisor Ron Alderico.
Here.
Highway Commissioner John Slinsky.
Here.
Trustee Barbara Boyce. Here. Trustee Dean Morelli.
Here.
Attorney Gary Newman.
Present.
And absent is Collector Lance McCullough and Clerk East Denise Frumcheck.
All right, thank you. Everybody should have in their packet the minutes of the monthly meeting of April 10th, 2017. We need a motion to pass the minutes. I got a motion by Barb Boyce.
I'll second.
Second by Dean Morelli. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, thank you. You have the bills of $115,232.76.
Well, do we do a copy of it?
I don't know if we have any copies. I don't have a full agenda for everyone. Again, the bills of $115,232.76. I do need a motion to pay the bills. I got a motion from Barbara Boyce.
Second.
Second by Dean. Any questions of the bills for the Highway Department tonight? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Lewandowski.
Yes.
Bodisich.
Yes.
Alderico.
Yes.
Boyce. Yes. Morelli.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Any citizens wishing to address the board from the Highway Department tonight?
I have comments in general. Is now when I should speak?
The highway, yes.
Yes, I'm going to cover the highway. My name is Belinda Harrod. I'm the acting president of the Fairmount Community Partnership Group. And I'm here tonight to demand that we receive equitable treatment from the LOckport Township Department. And some of my concerns are we have standing water in a number of areas, and I did bring some pictures to share with you tonight. And I did find out this evening from Will County Land Use that they're scheduling a meeting for May the 18th at Fairmount School. And another thing that I have a problem with is I saw that there was quite a bit of new playground equipment purchased. They're getting it at Canyons and Delwood Park. They're getting it at Sagebrook Park. They're getting new playground equipment with rubberized forward-in-place surfacing and pavilion, Victoria Crossings, Parker Ridge Park, Oak Creek Park, and yes, we did get a new basketball court at AF Hill Park. And as you look to the future, you have a renovation for Richland Center Park, renovation at Lions Park, and a renovation at College View Park. Fairmont's playground equipment is more than 30 years old. When do we get on this list?
Ma'am, the issues that you just brought up there, the water is the highway department, but the other ones you mentioned about the playgrounds would probably be the Lockport Township Park District. Lockport Township Park District, and you'll have to go, it's a separate taxing body that you would have to address those issues to them.
Okay, well, since I can't really get into some of the things, and another thing, Ron, I noticed that in that spring newsletter, you noted that there was a decrease of 33% in the tax rate for Lockport Township since 1983. So I went back and took a look. I couldn't get back to 1983, but I got back to 1991 for Fairmont. Fairmont's tax rate in 1991 was 0.25789. Today it's 5.3447. The only others close to it would be Richland, which is 3.56, and Cheney, which is 3.46. So my point is, Fairmont is paying more taxes, almost quadruple what you're paying in Lockport Township. So we should see more for our money. Our kids should not be suffering. We should not have a playground that's flooded. The kids need boots to go to the playground.
I'm not, I may be mistaken. I think you're talking to school districts.
Yeah, I'm talking about the school tax rate.
We have nothing to do with schools.
Yeah, again,
That's
that
what it
is-
is.
We don't control that.
We have no control over the schools.
Richland sets their own tax rate, Fairmont their own,
You have to go to
Lockport
their
Township High
schools.
School.
So when you said in the newsletter that you decreased it 33%.
We, as a township tax, have decreased it since, I don't know.
If you look on your tax bill on the left-hand side,
Yes.
it'll list all the taxing bodies and what you pay a percentage of to. It'll have like the schools, the highway department, or not the highway, yeah, it is Lockport Highway and Bridge. And the township has its own separate line, and it'll tell you the percentage of your tax bill that the township is responsible for. And that line is the only thing we're responsible for. The fire department has their own, the police department, all three of the schools, like Fairmont, the high school, the college. So that newsletter stated that our tax rate as a township went down from whatever years that it was. I don't
It was
remember.
a 33-year period from 1983.
Right, and you have to go back and look at the actual line that's for Lockport Township Fund.
Not the whole
Not the
tax.
whole, not the schools, not the park district. We're talking about just what we're responsible for.
Can I ask a point of clarification on that? As the township supervisor, do you have the ability to speak with those various other taxing authorities and to bring to their attention issues that are germane to them? The problem here is that the taxpayers have to go before an array of taxing authorities in order to deal with a conglomerate of problems. That's a horrendous task for people who work.
It's a big, horrendous task for me to go to every board meeting to do it.
Understood, but you have the ability to bring to the attention of the Park District or whatever taxing authority it is that concerns the problems that Delinda is raising, and to help elevate their consciousness that they need to address those, and perhaps influence them to reach out in their roles and responsibilities to the community to try to address those issues. You know, it almost feels like a divide and conquer thing, where you develop all these different taxing authorities, and the people have to go and fight each and every battle with a different taxing authority. You have to admit that's a pretty daunting task. for working people.
Again, I don't think I have that much, I wish I had that much influence in the Park District. I wish I had that much influence on Joliet Junior College's board, but I don't.
Maybe we have too many taxing authorities then.
What's that?
Maybe we have too many taxing authorities.
That's something we have to take up with the state. Just,
Yeah, I was just gonna give a statement here, and a lot of what you're saying is true. Like Debbie said, you know, when you look on your tax bill and you see the forest preserve, you see the park district, and you'll see that the forest preserve, actually more money of your tax dollar goes to the forest preserve. So when the forest preserve decides to put $15 million into the Prairie Bluff Preserve for the dragonfly ecosystem, did anybody know about that and go there and show concerns? Like, maybe that was a little much, you know. The Park District now is considering, obviously, to build a community center over by the pool. So how many people are aware of that, and how many people are going to say, hey, is that really needed, and such like that? It was just brought up, Lockport City had an opportunity to put in some sidewalks from the high school here on Farrell Road to come down to Division and to head over. And they voted it down, and I caught part of it, unfortunately, not getting involved quick enough, where some of it was going to come into the township property, unincorporated side of Division Street here. So that was my take, a concern of theirs, that they didn't want to put sidewalk in the unincorporated area. When I think if they would have came to us, or like I said, maybe we dropped the ball too, and said, hey, let's get together and let's work this out, because they did have grant money available and stuff like that. And a lot of that doesn't happen. And, you know, who's to blame? You know, are we to blame? You know, okay, we'll take part of the blame. But some of that, like Ron says, you know, even if we do go to the meetings, we're just a voice just like you would be. Like I said, you go to the county when they are going to build a new courthouse, when they're going to build a new sheriff's department. You know what I mean? Like I said, all of that has separate meetings, separate boards, separate people to talk to.
You raise valid points, and I'm not sure that it's really an issue of blaming somebody, all right? Stuff is falling through the cracks because there are all these walled-off chiefdoms, okay? Fiefdoms, whatever you want to call them, each having its own pot of money, having its own facilities. You just mentioned the Park District wanting to create a community center. What did we just spend a couple of $1 million for? You know, right here. It begins to boggle the mind that there isn't better communication and cooperation among the different taxing authorities to help lessen the burden on taxpayers and to share resources and to try to address community problems like Fairmont is facing. All right? It really is staggering that we can't do a better job. Ultimately, we, the taxpayers, are responsible, okay, if you want to point fingers, because we elected you, we elected a lot of people, all right? But somewhere this has to change. It can't keep going the way it is. We keep inventing new taxing authorities, each of which creates its own fiefdom. And communities get left out because of it. And needs cross-cut all these boundaries. There's a huge pot of money there, but this pot can only be used for one thing, another pot for another, and so on. And that concerns me as a taxpayer. We're not getting the best bang for our buck that we could. I'll shut up and.
If I say, what it seems to, and from, you know, we're bound by state statute how we operate. Also, going back to the previous meeting, how the water board operates, how the raises, how the money, how everything is spent through the state of Illinois. And a lot of the issues that get brought up here, we're following the laws of the state. A lot of these issues maybe should go to your state reps, to your state senators. Go that avenue, then they bring it back down on us, and then we have to make the changes.
Maybe we should have a meeting here to have them come join with you, to allow the public to share our concerns and maybe start something rolling in the direction of getting this animal under control. We're great at spending money, all right? But it's coming out of everybody's pocket.
Let's get back on topic.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
John, can you explain to me if there's a tree not far from the middle of the road that's about to topple over, a couple trees that's eventually gonna fall into the street? Is that something that you would be responsible for?
We're responsible for any trees that are on the easements, and it's 33 feet off the center of the road.
Okay.
Now, there are some instances where I looked at a couple of trees this past week that were actually inside of a fence. So I think that's the homeowners at that point. That's their responsibility. We just spent actually in this budget, we just spent $4,000 on tree removal. We continue to remove trees. You mentioned the standing water next to, I don't want to mention people's names, but next to a house that we talked about. We went out there with the backhoe and got stuck in the mud, and that's a heavily wooded area. So I did contact Homer, and they were out there on Friday. And we're going to have to pretty much get rid of all of that wooded area, and then bring some fill in to push the water back toward the farm field that nobody's at. And Homer told me they have the equipment to do that, but they have to wait till that dries out. So that's kind of a tough spot she's in at this particular moment.
So that project will be put on hold until maybe the middle of July or August when it's completely dry?
He told me he would keep, I talked to Rich Reposh at Homer Tree, and he said he would keep checking back to see when he can get in there and get that cleared out for us, because he's got the big equipment that can kind of level everything. I don't have that type of equipment.
But once it's completely dry, that'll happen.
Yeah, we got stuck. We had to get a truck and pull the back off, and we made that effort. But that water it's a rough
Right, she
spot.
said it didn't make any difference.
No,
What you all were able to do.
Yeah, what's happening now is because the water's been there so long, it actually is lower than her ditch. That's why I think that the answer here is to put some fill in there to push the water away from our house. And in order to do that, we have to be able to get into that area. And you mentioned other standing water around the Fairmont community. As you know, for the past 4 years, we've been talking about partnering up with Will County Land Use and doing this flood study.
Yes.
So just to give you kind of a history on what's going on, they have money. My biggest thing is with these studies is when you do a study, the only person that are making the money are the engineers, and there's nothing left to do the work. In this case, though, they did a really nice job, and they have money set aside to do the work. So they sent an engineering company out the first time, and they did a flood study for a particular area of Fairmont, and it wasn't really the area that they were looking to do the study in. So they hired a company called V3 Engineering, and I met with them, and I met with Ron, and so they actually have a study that is completed. Unfortunately, and I wasn't aware of this till I went to the meeting, it's going to be from Bruce Road to Oak, and then all that work's going to be done. They want it done before December, the end of this year, and then they're going to work on from Oak all the way toward Joliet. I thought they were doing the whole area.
Ron, if I could interject here, and I've had this conversation with both Will County, yourself, Ron Pullman from Will County, Steve Lazar from Will County. There's no standing water between those areas. The water is in control.
Excuse me, Terry, let's do this right. She's at the podium. When she's done, then you can come up, all right? Let's do one at a time. Let's keep it orderly.
So just for me to finish up my statement on the water. So we looked at, they have the problem areas all mapped out, and they have phases on how to do it, or which is going to come first, second, third. And I think there's 9 major areas in that particular section that they studied. So they are having a open house at Fairmont School on the 19th of May, where they're going to have.
May 18th.
I'm sorry. My budget hearing's the 19th, so I crossed some dates there. May 18th. So they're going to have like I think it's like from 5 to 9 or 4 to 8.
6 to 8.
Okay, very good. So they're going to have a bunch of displays. You can ask the engineers questions, and the nice thing is, Mr. Herod had been waiting for a long time to get some work done on a house that he has on Brassel, His is the very first phase of this study. So as soon as they release the money and tell me I can go ahead and start, we've already been out there and shot the grades. That's gonna get done. Now I'm hoping we can even maybe start that before the public hearing. I've been kind of pressuring Ron. But again, as Trustee Bodisich said, we're kind of bound to the, it's whenever they release the money, then we can work on that. So things are getting done, and we're finally at that point where, you know, okay, finally we can do something. Because for 3 years I've been telling you we're doing a study, we're teamed up with them, and nothing's getting done. What we've been doing is, trust me, I'm as frustrated as you are. But we're getting to that point where we can finally do something. The work that we've been doing on flooding in Fairmont has been just almost emergency basis, collapsed culverts, plugged up culverts, or, you know, that type of thing. So as soon as we get through this meeting, I think the funds should be fairly released. Now, the good news for the township, the money from Will County in this flood study is going to pay for the material and the work that needs to be done. Some of it's going to be hired out, some of it's going to be done by my crew. But again, I only got 5 guys, so we want to get this done by December. So I'm actually meeting with the engineering company, hopefully this week, to go over, okay, what needs to be hired out, what can I do myself? And we definitely are finally we're making some headway. So if you know, in a month or two, if you don't see us out there working, then absolutely come back and.
So realistically, within the next 60 days, you should see some people.
You should see some. Now, again, it's going to be contingent on when they release the funds, but I'm assuming we're going to be able to start at the end of May. That's my assumption, talking to Ron, not this one. Ron Coleman, yes.
Okay, I'll go back to my list here. I've spoken with you at least twice, maybe 3 times, about the pothole on Oak that you told me is a Joliet Township's problem.
It's Lockport, the city of Lockport.
City of Lockport?
Yes.
Okay, well, I stopped on the way here and took a picture of it if you'd like to see it.
I was out there the other day. I did call the person that's in charge of that. They were out patching today. I don't know if they got there today or not.
No, I stopped and took a picture on the way here. It's 17860 Oak Avenue. It's right in front of that residence. Also, there's a tree down on Riley Avenue. I reported that on April the 10th.
We called Homer on that. If they have not picked it up, I will call Rich Repost and find out why they haven't.
I didn't pass it on the way coming here, but I did like yesterday or the day before. And it was.
We've got several trees marked and they're far behind. I've got 2 trees on Bruce Road that we've been waiting a month. I called them and because we actually have to get those trees removed to do some work. So I will call and find out what the time frame is on that.
And if you'll shoot me an email, I'd appreciate that. Over on Brassel Street, we had a power line come down with the last big rain.
Yep.
And the tree stayed in the street for practically a week, or at
Yes.
least about 5 days.
What happened was we had a branch come out. I went out there in the evening, and as soon as the branches are touching the power lines, my guys don't touch them. They're not trained for that. I'm not going to get anybody killed. So we called the power company. Even with our emergency number, it took me 3 hours to get somebody. But we called and we left barricades out there.
I saw the barricades.
And then what happened was they fixed the power line and they left the barricades in the logs. So we went out there the next day and there was actually another wire that was black. We thought it was a cable line going about 4 feet off the ground. So I felt it was important to leave the logs on the road because people do go around the barricades and they would never see that wire, it was low. So we called Comcast 3 different times. They finally came out and looked at it, and they called us back and said it's AT&T's. So we called AT&T, and they were actually Comcast was who we were waiting on, but AT&T came out, they fixed it that afternoon. I had several calls, and I said, if you go out there and look, you'll see the wire. You can hardly see it till you pull right up to it. I thought we did the right thing by leaving the logs there because if somebody went around the barricades, I wouldn't want somebody riding a bicycle to get hurt or cut. So, but that has been taken care of, but that was the reason why I was there for so long.
The next question I have is, we haven't seen any mowing in Fairmont. When do you guys go out?
We're hoping to start that on Thursday.
This coming Thursday?
I'm hoping, yes. We chip Thursday and Friday, and so we should have the mowers out there as well, starting that group of activity, because the grass is growing like weeds, I guess you could say.
Also, I know you were going to talk with Pace about helping out with repaving Riley. Did you ever get anyone to respond?
I didn't get anywhere with Pace. We're going to have to do that ourselves. So we haven't gotten that far yet, but it will be paid.
Do we have a date when we think that might happen?
I do not. I have to get in touch with the engineer. We have to go out there and check all watersheds. I want to talk to V3 on the flooding study to see if there's anything. Even though that section was not done in the study, if we're going to pave that road this year, then I need to make sure that my drainage is correct, because I don't want to pave the road and then pick it back up because we're fixing the culverts.
Sure, that makes sense. Last but not least, the surveillance cameras. Have you heard any more about what's going on with
Yes, I called Canary, and they do not take our tax exempt status. So they told me I can contact, I don't know why I have a tax exempt, a letter. So they told me to contact CS, it's a company that handles their billing. So I sent that off, and I actually talked to Ron because I was tired of waiting, because Riley got cleaned up, and we want to get that camera to you as quickly as possible. So I guess I should have probably called you, Gary, but I talked to Ron to find out if I just pay the taxes on it, it's $218. I told you I would buy it, the highway department would purchase it. So he said I would not get in trouble, so I'm expecting to have that before your meeting on the 15th. That's my goal. They don't give me a time frame, but that camera's been purchased.
Okay, well, I'm going to share some pictures with you of some of the flooding, and I'm showing you the tree also.
Yep.
There's a tree over on Knowles. That's the one that we're look at. If you look right here,
yeah, that's one of the ones. There's actually two. There's another one next door, I think, over here, somewhere like in here. You got that one too.
They're right together.
Yeah, this is on the lady's property here. It's actually pretty close to the house. It's really out of my jurisdiction, and as much as I would like to help, I'm afraid if I set a precedent by cutting trees down on her property, then I'm going to be cutting trees down on everybody's property, and it's really, our insurance is going to be torn. I'm not a big fan. We're not even allowed on private property. But, maybe I can make a call. Let me see what I can do. Maybe I can make a call to Homer Tree, because yeah, let me call Homer and see if we can work out something. Maybe we can work out something to help this lady out, because these are too big for us to cut down.
This is what happens if I get in the position.
Yep. Well, it's not that I don't care, but that's not our jurisdiction.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the support of the highway department?
Good evening, everybody.
Good name?
Terry Broadhurst, a resident of the Fairmont Community Partnership, a member of the partnership. I would like to start off on a happy note and say thank you for the help that you guys presented when we did clean up Harvard Hill. We were able to do that on Earth Day. We had Lance brought out some of the painters from his union. Ron worked with him. John worked with me on making sure I had all the supplies needed. It was a great event. I would knock that hill out, around an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. So thank you for the help, and we want to keep that kind of stuff going. We understand how important skin in the game from our side is. We don't want to stand here and ask for stuff if we're not willing to do the work. And as you know me, John, for the last 4 years now, I do the work. I'm planning on staying and doing much more work and making that community the type of community that my grandkids can come and visit me in. So with that being said, I just wanted to clarify just another couple things. First of all, they started the community center at the Park District already. They already broke ground, so that's been passed a couple months back. Our tax base in Fairmont is the highest percentage per dollar in Will County. When you add them all together, we pay the largest in Will County, I believe. Now that might have been about a year and a half ago, so it might have changed a little bit. But for our tax dollar, we pay a percentage higher than everybody else. Now, we may not pay as much in taxes because our houses are smaller, our yards are smaller, we don't have the amenities that other neighborhoods have. So the tax base is not very big.
Why do you pay more?
From what I understand, our percentage is much higher than a lot of other areas in Will County. So now, I don't have those direct numbers in front of me, but I've been told that by other politicians.
Your school district is the highest school district.
It's a combination of things I think that add to it, but we in Fairmont do pay one of the highest percentages in Will County when you add them all together. Going back to what I wanted to say though, so there's as you know, a long list of things that I want to have seen done. But all of them are for the betterment of everybody. None of them are for what I directly want for myself, because I do realize everything that you guys do for the whole community makes it better for each and every one of these people sitting here. So we have to start looking at things as a whole. Infrastructure, the roads, the standing water. These are simple fixes. I got them sitting and looking at the future of the board. Greg Bickers will tell you, water runs downhill, guys. It's not that difficult. And we are not flat ground. Whoever said that the first time in our meeting must have rocks in his head. Come and stand on any four-way intersection in Fairmont, you'll look downhill in 4 different directions, or up in 4 different directions. So there's a lot of misinformation. And since I got here 4 years ago, I get misinformation, and it seems like a big circle going from land use in Will County back to LOckport Township down to the highway department, and then we never get anything. We just get right back to ground zero again. So what I want to say is that please, let's put our feet forward. Let's join together. Let's work together. I'll dig ditches with you. I don't care. We have to get the work done. We have mosquitoes. We got kids. I saw kids at the park playing in that standing water, John. They were floating in it on that 70-degree day. There's a shine floating on top of that water, so nasty. We have health department issues here. Is it a matter of bringing the health department in and start looking at this standing water? Do we need to start looking at bringing lawyers in to start checking out the drinking water? Now we're finding out that there's nobody accountable for our water. You guys are accountable for the water. You're accountable for the decisions that are being made. Well, God forbid. I know Larry the water guy. He's a really nice guy. But if something went terribly wrong, folks, he files bankruptcy and we got nobody to hold accountable. I mean, anywhere else they got water boards, and they have certified companies that have multiple businesses all over the state where they don't just walk away, they fix problems. These are all the same things that you guys want in your neighborhoods. Well, Fairmont wants it too now. And we're not going to stop till we get it. Mr. Batusich?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to quote you in the newspaper. You talked about getting reelected and you wanted to bring garbage to Fairmont. Well, did you talk to Ron? Did Ron tell you that it's against the law for us to have garbage right now? So you made a promise in your declaration in the newspaper that was one of your promises to us.
I said we're looking to
Okay, now that's what I'm saying. See, that's the kind of work we want. We want guys with your attitude to say, we'll look into it, not that it's against the law. We need politicians that recognize the problem and then come up with solutions. We all know what the problem is here, but we just never get to the solution part. And that's where I think we can build a relationship here. Ron, and you weren't here at the town hall meeting. Well, I learned a lot at the town hall meeting. I didn't know we were voting on that stuff, but we had the right in these seats to make the decisions. Well, we learned that after the meeting. But we won't get caught that way again. But what I want to tell you is, these are great ideas for workshops. These are great ideas to have us vote on next year at the town hall. To say, you know what, we pay our water bill to you, we want to be able to get a community garbage pricing. We have 60 to 75% of people paying their own garbage, and they're probably double paying because they have to have their own contract. Guys, I apologize. I apologize for my passion. I may look like a madman up here sometimes, but I'm going to tell you, I'm willing to do the work. And if you guys are willing to do the work, I'll stand shoulder to shoulder with you in any ditch and shovel whatever crap there is to get out of it, to get that water running, John, to get them streets paved, Ron, to get our garbage picked up, John. What's it take? Workshops. Let's get them going. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to address the board for the highway? We'll move on to the highway commissioner's report.
Thank you very much. Not a whole lot to report. We are shipping the first and third, or second and fourth Thursday and Friday of the month. One thing that we've noticed that we're getting a lot more big trees, like whole trees and logs, and we don't have the capability. It's branch pickup, so we get a lot of calls if we leave a pile of logs. It's because we have one backhoe, and we do eventually, we'll go out and pick them up, but if the backhoe's in use doing something else, then we have to just wait till that's freed up, and then we take a dump truck and stuff. So be patient if you do have logs. They will get picked up. It's just a matter of equipment being in certain places. Other than that, I mentioned the flood study. I'm just so glad that we're finally getting close to doing that. We are going to start cutting grass. Our boom mower is ready to go, and our mowers are ready to go, so we'll get on the grass. But that's really about all that I have. We have been cutting a lot of trees down. If you do see, and I had a guy call up, and I hate to bother you, but there's a dead tree here or whatever, please call us, because sometimes we don't see it unless we drive by it. We do travel the roads quite readily. Potholes, same thing, call. And we'll see if we can't get those squared away for you.
Are you also going to do some of that cutting back like you did at the corner of Princeton and Green Garden?
Did you like that?
That was very nice for safety.
And they stopped dumping and throwing so much trash, too.
That started out, well, you know, actually, it's a good point you brought up, because when I talked to Homer Tree about clearing that property, I think that if we might be able to get them on board to clean some of those lots that are wooded. One of the big problems with the standing water next to that one person's house is people just dumped, there's concrete in there, there's little curbs, there's all kinds of stuff in there that we need to get out of there, but now that it's flooded, we can't get it out.
Ron, if I might just be able to point out, I think the one thing you had mentioned earlier, that some of it was private property. I think me and you had a discussion once before, that the land we're talking about is actually the Yale Street easement. It's public ground. Her side yard is right there at the easement of Reverend Walton Drive, which used to be Yale, I believe.
Used to be Yale.
Reverend Walton.
That's your land there. All of them woods in that strip behind her, on the side of her house, that's your land. That's Reverend Walton. Now, in the future plan of so and so, such and such, 2000, whatever, they might have it vacated, but it's still your land to go on and do the work to clear it and run a ditch and do what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that whatsoever. Yeah, and that's why I called Homer to get out there to see if they can get that cleared up. But yeah, what we did on that, nobody could see that stop sign, and I think a couple cars ran into the church, and we basically took it upon ourselves. We could not find the landowner. We didn't know who owned the property. We couldn't get a hold of them. So we kind of cleared out that corner so you could see a lot better, because that was bad.
Ron, John, there's a couple more of those corners. Brazel and Bruce as that tight corner. I've come out of Brazel a couple times and almost got clipped. As you're looking west at the intersection of Brazel and Bruce, looking west, there's trees right on the corner there. Maybe we can get that 45-degree cut like you did on Princeton to get us a little better peripheral vision.
Yeah, there's also a tree, I think, on Barrett. There's a pine tree on Barrett, and I can't remember if it's the 1st or 2nd Street.
Right.
Off of
Blocks
South.
everything off.
That thing is, yeah, we got to talk to
Maybe
the
we could just
homeowner.
get the branches up on that one or something if it's a homeowner. But that, look at Bruce and Brazel if you would. It's if we could get that 45-degree angle like you did at Princeton and Green Garden, I think the safety level is going to raise there.
Yeah, the reason I was able to do that is because we just couldn't find the landowner, so we basically took it upon ourselves to clear that. Now, if there's a homeowner on the corner of Bruce and Brazel, I'm going to be stuck to my 33 feet, but I'd be more than happy to talk to the homeowner as well.
All right. I have no other business in the highway. Call for adjournment.
I'll second it.
Motion by John Barisic, second by Michael Lewandowski. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. We'll be moving on to our general assistance. Everybody should have in their packet the minutes of the monthly meeting of April 10th, 2017 for the general assistance. I do need a motion to accept the minutes. I have a motion by Barb.
I'll second it.
And a second by Michael Lewandowski. Any questions in the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes. We have the bills of $6,940.87. I do need a motion to pay the bills.
We have the motion to pay the bill.
I got a motion by Barbara Boyce.
I'll second that one.
And a second by Dean Morelli. Any questions of the bills? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Lewandowski.
Yes.
Bodisich.
Yes.
Alberico.
Yes.
Boyce. Yes. Morelli.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Any citizens wishing to address the board for the general assistance?
If I could just say on behalf of the seniors,
One at a time.
Oh.
Well, say your name.
just real quick, on behalf of the seniors, I want to say thank you. You know, I work with the Silver and Gold, and one of the 3 groups the Park District runs. Just want to say thank you. You do a lot of work, and with all 3 groups, I know. So thank you for that, and hopefully that can keep going. That'd be one of the things that the older folks really are going to need coming up here soon if things start falling apart. So thank you. Keep it up. Keep up the hard work.
Thank you. Please, Bubba, state your name for the record.
At the thought of being expelled from the meeting,
Please come.
I still will come and talk. Is this the place where I can talk about that $800?
No, this is not. This is general assistance.
It's about the budget.
No, this is the general assistance meeting. Do you have any questions or any statement you want to make about general assistance?
Well, down here it says new business, town, and it's going to approve the budget.
I'm not doing business here. I'm at citizens wishing to address the board, and you decided to come up and speak.
Can I speak about that? Is that the only place that people can speak?
I'm asking to speak on topic, which is general assistance.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
We're in the general assistance meeting.
We'll just let him know when he can, when he gets to that point about the collector. How's that?
Can I speak when it gets down to...
We had a public hearing, and he spoke.
Can I speak then?
You spoke at the public hearing. That was your time to speak, and you spoke. What more do you want to say? And please pertain to general assistance, since that's the meeting we're in. I don't mean to be rude, but I do.
You are.
No, I'm trying to stay in Robert's rule of order. And this is what, we're in a meeting to do with general assistance, and I'm asking citizens if they have anything to address the board on in general assistance.
If I can just kind of clarify, maybe I'm out of school here, out of turn. Basically what happens is the general assistance, the senior, the town fund, and the highway department. The highway department is kind of separate, but these 3 are separate funds. So what they will do is they'll open up the fund, then close it, and then go to the next one and close it. So I think, and I don't want to speak out of turn because you guys are the trustees, but he would probably want to do it at the time. So when he calls for the town fund, citizens wishing to address the board,
Okay.
I'm just trying to clarify that.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No.
I only saw one place for public input.
It's confusing.
All right, any other citizens wishing to address the board for the general assistance? Hearing none, under new business, I have the renewal contract for the Allied benefit systems, catastrophic insurance that we have to carry by state law every year. I would need a motion to accept the contract. Anybody?
Is that on, is the contract down here? Or?
I don't know if she gave us the contract, to be honest with you. It's a boilerplate thing that we do every year. We have to by law.
No, I know, I just was wondering if it was included in
I don't think she did, and I'm sorry that she didn't. I should have put a copy of that contract in.
I'll second it. I think we'll table it
All right.
next month.
I'll second it.
All right, we'll table until next month. All right, moving on. You have your financial report in the back of your agenda here. We had 6 that we qualified for general assistance. We had one that reopened and was approved for general assistance. We had 2 that were denied for general assistance this month. We have 0 on emergency assistance this month, and we have 7 on general assistance. And you can see the breakdown of how we did it this past month. April, we had 4 that we paid for housing, 1 for gas, 2 for electric, 3 for water, no garbage, 4 for fuel, 6 for food, and 0 on medication.
Ron, I just got a question on that financial aid breakdown that you just read off. Because I know we got, you said 7 that are qualified. And I know it says on our sheet, how much, like for rent, and the utilities are broken down. But I'm just wondering, like, on food and fuel, I don't know, like how much is that included in the grand total, obviously, somewhere?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
Well, this financial aid breakdown is just a little confusing, because we do have 7 people, and, if you add up what the assistance was,
Okay.
as far as utilities and rent and
Okay, we have
such,
7 people. One of the
you wonder how much they're getting, like, per person, and like I said, the rent and the utilities are broken down, but as far as like food, so.
Well, I can't tell you who gets it.
No, I'm just saying, how much, if there were 6 people that we gave food to, how much was it?
Depending on how much they ask for.
$25 a person?
No, it depends on how much they ask for.
Okay.
They get some.
Right, well, I'm just saying that.
If they want to break it up, $100 in gas and
Right.
$20 in fuel and, $100 in electric, and they want to take a little bit in housing for their rent, then we split it up and give them a little bit of each. So that's why it's,
Right,
it
and
breaks down.
I understand that, because I see the rent on there, and I do see, ComEd and NICOR, I just don't see food and gas, or food and fuel, I just thought there would be a total amount, evidently not.
Of what we give each person for food,
Right, not each, a total for the month, what's the dollar amount for the month?
depends on what they ask for.
I know, well, we got a number somewhere,
Well, yeah,
well, right, I just, like I said, you got water, you
you want it
got.
broken down even farther than this.
Well, I'm not saying farther, I'm just saying, if you're showing how much we're sending to ComEd, is that for 1 person or for 2? I mean, we don't know, it could be 2 people. I'm just saying for food, what's the total? I'm not saying break down each person.
You're saying like,
Just
okay,
the lines for
rent, we sent 500, is what you're saying here, $543.05 to
Sure,
rent.
and then you go down, you got ComEd, you got NICOR, you got water. But we did give, obviously, some food and fuel. I'm just saying, what was the total?
Oh, I see what you're going at. What
was the dollar amount?
You will see, we didn't buy any food this month. We buy gift certificates from either Burkhoff's on this side of the river and Food for Less on the other side of the river. And we have them in our
Right.
office.
So what
when,
this is saying, we gave
when we
6
get
of them.
low, we buy more. That's when it appears on the bills. We didn't buy any credit, any gift cards this month.
Right, but we did give some out.
Oh, yeah, we buy a bulk of them, 600 of them,
I know,
and then when we get low, we go out and buy more.
right.
And we'll show you how many gift cards we give out, and food, we gave out 6 this month.
Right, so what I'm saying is, $25 gift cards or a $50 gift card?
Yeah.
I believe I buy in denominations of 25 and 50,
Right.
depending on what they want to take.
Right, so I'm just saying, so we do know what we gave out.
Oh, yeah, we have a total.
It's not.
We have a total of what we gave out and everything.
Okay.
It doesn't reflect in a bill list, though. Obviously, because we didn't buy new cards.
Right.
Are you wanting me to change that, though, or for next month, I can have her, I'm not sure what you want me to do. You wanted me to show you guys what we're giving out, and as that, you wanted me to give you how many people are on that, I give you that now. Is there more you want me to give?
No, that's all right. I'll talk.
Maybe you can just sit down and I think there's $100 in food and $100 in fuel. Would you do that?
I could break it down any way you guys want it. I just can't tell you who we're giving it to.
No, that doesn't, I don't think that's what he's asking for. He's asking like how much, you know, you have 6 people who are actually get.
We have 6 people, what?
6 people who have food. So just say
How
like,
much
one
do
got
you
$25,
get?
you know, one got $50. What is the total?
Like I said, I get that to you if you want to come
I
in
think
the
that's what
office.
he's asking for. And
I mean, I'm going to put a whole report and I'll give you a whole spreadsheet of what everything goes out for next month.
right, is that what you're asking? Right.
All right. All right, I'll have her do that for next month. Any other questions on the bills? I'm sorry, we already passed the bills. Anybody have anything else they want to ask? I have no other business in general assistance.
Second.
Okay, motion by Kevin Bassett, second by Michael Lewandowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Moving on to our senior fund. Again, you have the minutes in the packet of April 10th, 2017. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Make the motion.
I'll second them.
Motion by Barb, second by Michael Lewandowski. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Ayes have it. Approval of the bills of $35,662.11. I do need a motion to pay the bills.
Make the motion.
I got a motion by Barbara,
Second.
second by Michael. Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Lewandowski,
Yes.
Badisich,
Yes.
Albrico,
Yes.
Boyce,
Yes.
Morelli.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. I have no new business. The only thing under old business, I did want to bring you up to date on our buses. Now that we're through the election, I would like to start looking into that lease program again with PACE. I'm going to start working on that, try to get some buses through PACE. I think it's the best financial way to go. I'm also going to be looking at trying to get a backup van when one of the buses are down. So we're starting to look into that, and I will probably have a workshop on that as soon as we get all the paperwork and everything put together, and how we're going to proceed with that. But PACE does offer us to rent buses at $100 a month, and we have to pay for the maintenance. It's only $1,200 a year. To lease a bus is about $1,200 a month if we don't go through PACE. So we have 2 buses that are paid for right now, but we did buy them used 2.5 years ago, I guess it was now, and they are starting to see the wear and tear for a lot of miles on those buses, and we're going to have to start thinking about replacing them. So I just want to bring it up to date as to what the direction we're going to be going.
I spoke to Tamara from Byboard, the National Procurement, so she said anytime you need her on a conference call or a workshop, just let her know.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Any citizens? I already asked that. The update. I have no other business in senior. I need a motion.
Motion adjourned.
Need a motion by John Badisich,
Second.
second by Barbara Boyce. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving into our town fund. Again, we have the minutes in your packet of April 10th, 2017 meeting. I need a motion to accept the minutes. I got a motion by Barbara,
I'll second it.
second by Michael Lewandowski. Any questions of the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you have the bills of $199,931.04. Need a motion to pay the bills. I get a motion by Barb Boyce,
I'll second that.
I get a second by Dean. Any questions of the bills? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Lewandowski.
Yes.
Bassett.
Yes.
Alberico.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Maroni.
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda, we have to approve the corrected calculations for the April bill list. Last month, the bill list was printed out right, but the bottom number came out wrong due to mess up with the QuickBooks. Didn't calculate all the numbers. So all the bills are the same as they were last month that you approved, but they didn't come, the total didn't come to $86,000. $86,339.99. They came to $125,074.20. So we have to reapprove due to a calculation error. Now, they ask for a motion. Motion by Barb,
I'll second it.
second by Michael. Any questions?
How is it found, Ron?
When we wrote all the checks, it didn't equal $86,000, it equaled $125,000. So we started looking back at all the things that, even though they were listed on here, the one example I could find right off the top was on the first page at $24,990, which is the replacement tax for the White Oak Library Board or district. Wasn't calculated in it. I don't know why it didn't. QuickBooks went up the list and stopped at certain stops and didn't quite add up everything correctly. So basically, it's a mathematical error, and you confused. When we paid the bill, we started writing all the checks to help you with it. So we went through it and found out there was a calculation error. Any other questions? Can I have a roll call, please?
Lewandowski.
Yes.
Bassett.
Yes.
Alberico.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Maroni.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. All right, moving on. Any citizens wishing to address the board for the town fund?
That would be my opportunity.
This is your opportunity. I know. So now you want to have to do the town fund.
If I could ask the lawyer, I think it's 3 minutes, is there time limit? Yes. So sir, basically you have 3 minutes, just to give you.
So I came up here and talked about this $800. I know it's nothing, but I'm not clear about how you get things done in this township. I've complained for years about the other budget, and it changed. That's no longer there, the money's probably somewhere, but I'm not going to worry about where it is. So now you tell me that we've looked at this budget, and now we can't do anything about it. If that's what you're telling me, that you've already decided that the pay for this guy is $800, because you've already passed it sometime when nobody's here.
Can I say something? You're confusing this budget with an ordinance that was passed.
No, I'm not. You said there's an ordinance that says you're going to pay the guy $800.
About 2,000.
Right.
So what are we hearing about this budget?
Since they don't make this anymore.
What can you say about this budget? Can anyone say anything about this budget?
A little bit small.
Can it be amended? Can it be changed?
Okay.
Sure. By board approval.
How about by citizen approval?
No, you elected township trustees to do that for you.
I think when I was in the back and you were talking earlier, the collectors, and there's 1, 2, Dean was a collector, I was a collector, anybody else here a collector at one time? We have never, up to now, was paid a salary. We never received.
Yeah, but you
We never received a W-2 form.
You collected the money for it.
In a line budget, in a line budget, you have, like Ron said earlier, you might have $5,000 to spend on something. If you don't use that money, it may go into something, we amend the budget to go into something that we went over.
That's exactly the point. It's exactly the point that it went
But
somewhere.
no collector has ever received a W-2.
I know.
And the ordinance was passed 180 days. Had to be paid 100, or had to be approved 180 days before the election day. So this happened back in November or October. You know, so the next time that this will be brought up will be 4 years from last October.
I'm not going to live long enough for that. But I can say that I disapprove of that way of doing things.
It's state statute, sir. That's the thing.
No, there is no state statute.
No, there is. There is.
Gary, you want to clear?
That's what we haven't found.
You're our lawyer.
There is no statute that says you have to have a
It
collector.
explains what the job of a collector is, or was back in the day, and you're correct. There's only 4 or 5 of them left in the state of Illinois.
There's 5.
5. Left in the state of Illinois.
And most of our townships don't even use them in Will County. And so my objection is that and it's a waste of time and money for me to object because it's not going to go anywhere. But I am glad to see that $6,000 disappeared from the budget.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the board? Yes.
I don't mean to drag this out any longer than necessary. My name is Carl Beveridge. I live in LOckport Townhip, 17551 West Oak Avenue. My question is this. Each of the trustees and you, Ron, have a packet of materials that you're given before each of these meetings, but those packets of material are not available to the electorate. All right. The website that the township operates, and I don't mean to pick on Debbie or anything like that because she kind of takes it personally, but it does not make that information available to the public.
And there's that. What to do with the website?
I think you meant
Denise.
Excuse me. Correct. But nobody should take this personally, okay? It doesn't make that information, all of it, available, and that which it does is not easy to access. So I'd like to propose to the board that you invest some of our tax dollars, okay, an expenditure that I would approve of, to hire the appropriate information technology services to enhance the website, to make that information available in a timely manner before each meeting so that the public would have an opportunity to see what you're seeing and be able to comment at these meetings upon the things that you're voting upon. It's very difficult to assess minutes, to assess the individual budgets that you're looking at, and so on. And I can see no practical reason why that information should not be made available to the electorate. It's surely a matter of will, hiring the right resources to ensure that that information is provided in PDF format or whatever via the website that you already have established.
We put the agendas on the website the Thursday before the meeting.
The agendas are very general items. You have in your packets much more specific information.
Okay, I think I put it just about everything that I put in the packet. I put it in
Well, I can tell you, I've looked, and it's not always been very easy to find. You have to go and dig, and I'll venture to say the vast majority of the electorate has never seen that and doesn't know how to access it, and there's a reason for that. All right, and it's simply that it's not easy to find it on the website. The way it's constructed is not user-friendly. An information technology specialist could show you how to make it much more accessible. And in the interest of open government, I make that proposal, and I hope that it will move forward through this board.
All right.
Is Denise the only one that handles that, or?
No, I put the agenda together, and it was Denise, and she put it on the website. And Thursdays, for the meeting.
I think that's something that we should look into, you know.
We
It's
did
not
update the website 2 years ago, and
obviously 2 years ago was a long time.
there's a tab, you press on the tab, brings it, agendas, you press on the agenda, brings up the agendas.
So what's missing off of it?
I'm not sure, I don't look at it myself, I have the hard copy, so I'll be honest with you, I don't look at it.
I'd be happy to come in on my own time and talk with you, and if you go
You're
back.
always welcome in my office. You know that, Carl.
Thank you.
All right. Any other citizens wishing to address this board?
Just one suggestion, Ron.
Please state your
And
name.
I just want to, again, Terry Broaders, resident of Fairmont community. I would like to just state, going back to the opening of the meeting, we started out going over the budget. And as you realize, we went over correction after correction after correction, and things had to be explained to us. As I followed the minutes and the meetings and the agendas and stuff, maybe with the new building, maybe it's time to rebuild a new website, start getting a little more organized. I don't want to say I couldn't follow them. I go to a lot of board meetings, and these were kind of hard to follow. We started out with a lot of corrections on the budget. I'm thinking the budget should be handed to you done, right? So I think these are small bugs to work out, and I think as you guys are in this big building, maybe it's time to start looking at some of the infrastructure for us to get information. I know a couple of times we try to track stuff down online, it's not that easy, and plus, I mean, I still use a flip phone, for God's sake, so I can't really do much, but you know, maybe it's time we start looking at some of the infrastructure in our house to make things more transparent. I believe wholeheartedly that transparency solves just about all of our problems here. But when you start out explaining a lot of mistakes or corrections on a budget, boy, that's just the worst way to start out going over a budget. I think everybody would agree with that. So maybe it just comes down to, you know, the planning, structure. The website should be more friendly to the public. I know LOckport's done a great job with their website to make it more friendly. You know, I would think that would be something we'd want to move towards with this new building. I believe these meetings are going to get bigger and more involved, and more people really want to get something. Mr. Matusich had said earlier today earlier this evening about reaching out to our state representatives. Well, if you reach out to your state representatives, they're going to tell you really need to work with your local representation because that's where you get the most done. And God forbid you go above the state because you are never getting a hold of them. But we feel...
circle keeps happening.
That's the problem. The circle keeps happening. But we feel that our best option is being right here in front of you guys, and just keep building on a working relationship and working out the bugs together. If Carl wants to come in and donate some time to help you work out some bugs, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
I also use a flip phone. I'm not into the technologies.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to help put this website, I did it about 2 years ago. I put it in the hands of one of my employees.
Right.
It got a lot better. If you want to
You know,
do it again,
well, what it comes down to, Ron, is making it more friendly, making it more interactive. You know, I think there's probably a lot of organizations that would like to be able to post on your sites and stuff. So I just think that's what I mean. I think the building of these relationships is going to be very important for our future. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe our infrastructure needs a little tweaking too. You know, in-house, I mean. Thank you.
thank you. Yes, sir. Could you please come up again? You always go to one shot. I'm going to speak again.
I'm Michael Fuller, and I still have a question.
All right.
You've got a budget, you have a meeting so that you have input on the budget, but it can't be effective. Is that correct? You aren't asking for any public input on the budget.
We have to put
Is
the
that
budget on
correct?
display. We have to have a public hearing, and then we have to pass the budget in the meeting. That's the law.
But
That's right.
you don't want anybody to say anything about it. We can say anything we want, but it's not going to affect it.
You spoke for a half hour.
I didn't speak for half an hour.
You were about the only one who spoke at that public hearing from 6:30 to 7.
Well, then I spoke for half an hour, but you paid no attention. Because I've asked you a serious question. I'm a citizen, and I happen to have a question about how do you get input on this budget? How do we as citizens have any input?
You could speak at the public hearing.
But you've already decided.
Decide whether to take your advice or not. Not me, it's not my budget, it's this township's budget. And these four gentlemen and ladies will vote on it, and that's by law. I mean, I don't make the laws, I have to follow the law.
So when I object to the $800, you say it can't be changed because it's already in the law.
We need to have $800 if we're gonna pay the collector what we said, the ordinance says we have to pay. Not the budget, the ordinance. The ordinance got passed back in October or whenever it was.
And none of us were here.
$800.
Now
Now we have to.
And as the gentleman suggests, looking at your website, it's really hard to know what's going on.
I apologize, you can't get around that website. Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to? Thank you.
I will make it quick.
Please come up, state your name.
Barbara Delaney, Crest Hill. I would like to make a suggestion. I have a question first to you, Mr. Alberico. Do you have workshops on your budget before you come to this meeting?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I would make a recommendation then to the audience to try and make it to your workshops. Workshops are where there is a lot more discussion as to the items that these trustees are going to be making their decisions on. The workshops are where all of the information is given, so I would recommend you come to that if you want to get more information before it gets to this point. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've spoken already 3 times. You're only allowed 1 time.
I don't think you realize what you're asking the electorate to do, given the structure of local government, all right? I applaud you for making that a suggestion on the one hand, but on the other, from a practical point of view, for people to attend on a regular basis, these workshops and all the other taxing authority meetings and workshops and so on, they wouldn't be able to have a job in order to do that. It's not workable. We have to find some other way of conducting our public business so that people are properly informed. And that's why I was going to the website as one way of helping to achieve that.
Thank you.
I'll be persisting in that move, and I hope to see you make a move on that front.
I will entertain whatever you want to talk to me about. Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address this board? Hearing none, we'll move on to the assessor's report.
I have 2 things tonight. I'm asking for approval for reimbursements for travel expenses for 4 of my employees for when they attended school back in March of this year.
All right, everybody should have in their packet the 4 reimbursement forms, reimbursement forms. We need a motion to approve the reimbursement.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Michael Lewandowski. Second by Barbara Boyce. Any questions?
I know we talked earlier about the mileage issue.
Mm-hmm.
I know it seems like it was however we decided if we wanted to pay mileage or just pay the gas bill. And I don't really just, so it was kind of like on our.
I did talk to the attorney about that, how it should be done. It goes from this building to the hotel and back. So all four of them will get, it's 102 miles one way, so it's 204 miles. I think each, I thought we broke it down by.
They did, sure,
Yeah, I mean, I have all the receipts here if you guys want to see individual. I just didn't want to make copies of each individual thing and kill 12 trees doing it. But I have them here for all four employees. And like I said, the attorney kind of went through it with me also. It's the first time since this is a new system we're doing by ordinance.
By state law.
By state law. Any other questions? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Lewandowski.
Yes.
Godsuch. Albrico.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Marley.
Yes.
And I also will have field staff out in different areas starting Wednesday, where we're checking some different areas of property. All the police departments in the areas where they will be notified. All of my field people, I have 2 girls and 2 guys, will have picture IDs, and you can call my office at any time if you have any questions of why they're out there. That's all I have.
All right, well, thank you very much. Moving on, we won't have a clerk's report tonight since the clerk isn't here. Trustees' comments and suggestions. Hearing none, we'll go on to new business. First on new business is the approval of the 2017-2018 budget. And that's for approval, or motion to approve the budget.
So moved.
And a motion by Jenna Batsich.
I'll second it.
Second by Barb Boyce. Any questions? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Lewandowski.
Yes.
Godsuch.
Yes.
Albrico.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Marley.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. I wanted to bring you up to date on some of the things that I'm doing here at this building now that we're here. Last month, you guys went through those contracts for reseeding and doing landscaping on the side of the building with the water system going in. That has been done. I don't know if you've noticed it coming in today. It looks pretty good. You got hay on there, hopefully, or straw. Hopefully it'll start coming up pretty quick. Couple other things I want to get going. I have our sign in the front of the building, by ordinance, by code, I guess, for the city of Lockport, we have to have some shrubbery. So I did get an estimate. I think everybody has in their packet a picture of what the shrubs will look like as you're looking down at the sign. And that's the bid I got. That's only $1,300. I think I went ahead and told them to go with that. But before I get that, we need lights put on that sign.
Yeah, definitely.
So I went ahead and I wish I had that contract, but it was $1,200 too.
Did we look into street lighting also for the entrance going in?
Well, you know what, John, I want to get to that point eventually, but I don't know if we can do it all in one budget here. We'll look at projects and see if we can do that with that might be, I gotta get bids and stuff on that, see how expensive that might be. I'd like to put, I don't know if I can explain it to you, but coming down over the Main Street Bridge as you're entering into the city of Lockport, we have a parking lot on the south side of the road that they have the carnival in, and all that. I don't know if you ever noticed the walls entering into that, has 2 curved concrete, or not concrete, but rock quarry stone walls with some planters on them. I would like to maybe do something like that at our entrance with lights on them, so I do have a complaint that it's hard to see the entrance to the building.
Yeah, it's,
But I think I need to get some contracts or some bids on that and see, in time to do that. Can't get anything done overnight. The one thing I am trying to get bids on, I got one bid, and I believe it's around $8,400, $8,500, is to reseal, coat the driveway and stripe it. And that's something we have to do by code also. We got accepted in the city or annexed into the city. That was one of their things they wanted us to reseal driveway. So I'm getting bids on that. When I get all the bids, we'll have a workshop on it, and we'll make the decision as a whole as to who goes. The other thing I want to do, and this is just an idea, I'm playing around with, is
Let me go back to the city is asking, telling us that we have to seal our parking lot.
It's part of what we annexed into the city. I was in that country. They wanted us to reseal the driveway, stripe it. They wanted us to put a garbage enclosure and the sign.
Don't we also have to have a sidewalk wrap?
What's that?
Was there something about
There
sidewalk?
was, you were right, exactly right. There's also a thing in there that said 6 months after, 6 months after the property to the southwest gets annexed into the city and they start putting sidewalks in there, we have 6 months to continue our sidewalk. But until they develop that and annex that or do any improvements there, we don't have to put sidewalks in. Otherwise, we just have a stretch of sidewalk just in front of our building going on the side. So that was part of the agreement when we were next in the city.
It just seems strange to me that they're telling us to seal it.
Yeah, I thought that was
What can we tell them to do?
Yeah.
Make a list of that.
What bothers me,
They're in our township.
and I'll be honest with you, what bothers me the most is they want us to put a garbage enclosure, to hide the garbage cans in the building, but the city of Central Square doesn't have one around their garbage cans.
Wait till they get one.
Yeah. Anyway, the other idea I'm thinking about doing, I'm kicking around the idea of renting a Bobcat for a week. With, I forget what they call it in the front there, landscape, blade. I want to flatten out all the grass in the back that's way out of hand in the old community garden area. Get it flat, seeded, some plant grass in there. Right now, our lawnmowers can't get through that, it's too bumpy.
I thought we heard a guy cut the grass.
I heard that cut the grass, but his lawnmower can't get through that. That's why I want to smooth it out, so the lawnmower can get through it. I've asked John to come and knock it down with the bush hog. I'm hoping I want to pass it tonight. If you can maybe find some time this week and knock that down between then. I'd like to get grade that out so it's smooth and plant some seed in there, so then we can keep it cut and not have to use a bush hog.
We can knock it down.
Is that some retention area back there?
I don't know what's in there. We'll go slow at first.
No, I'm saying, I thought there was like this natural grass type thing where you can't cut some of the stuff. I just want to make sure that's not the case.
I'm unaware that that's natural grass. When we did our environmental study at this building, it never said that we couldn't.
We can't cut it back there.
It's just so bad back there. It's hard to get a tractor through there. The gentleman that we hired can't get his tractor, so I want to make it. I think this is probably the most reasonable way. I can drive a Bobcat, I'll go back and smooth that out.
Prairie grass, and let the unrelated people, you're not mowing, and you're really encouraging when a lot of things are being done in the county.
I think that's a very good idea, and that's an idea that I've talked about doing, but I can't get that done. I've got to talk to the Forest Preserve, see if they want to donate time. We have to do a study on what we can plant, what's good, what's natural grasses. In the meantime, that grass is getting really high. We got to knock it down because our neighbors to the west of us are complaining that our grass is too long. So I just want to knock it down so I can cut it for the year until I can get the Forest Preserve to work with me. I'd like to put a path going to Gale Gardens and have wildflowers back there. That's my ultimate goal, but I can't let it just go wild until I get all the studies done.
You could put the goats in the city.
I could what? Goat? A goat? I had to feed the goat and I had the house.
No. They actually, when I went to school down south, they actually had people that would rent out goats if you wanted to clear property. And everything from as high as that goat could reach. It was beautiful, actually.
I'm sure the city will let us do that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, but anyway, for the time being, I'd like to just knock it down so I can keep it under control until we decide to get goats and other wildflowers. Other than that, the only other thing I want to do, and I want to bring two people up here, Mike and Jen. You guys come up here. You guys are in trouble now. Come here. Both of you guys, I'd like to congratulate you guys for the hard work that you guys have done for this township through the years, for working hard. We're going to miss you on this board. And it's our, I want to give these to you, the board wanted to give these to you in appreciation for the years of hard work that you guys done. Michael, that's for you. John, we really do appreciate all you've done through the years.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank the members of the community giving me the opportunity to serve you in the capacity that I have. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I probably will be back around sometime soon.
Also, thank you to all the residents of LOckport Township. It's been fun, it's been a challenge. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be done to improve our community, from the water to the streets to the websites. Still a lot to do. You know, hopefully in 4 years from now, it's in a better place and we can keep going. Thank you.
Say how much of an honor it has been for me to work with these two on the board. Thanks for being here. All right. Other business. I don't have anything under other business. Under meetings and correspondence, I did receive a letter from Chevron. Basically, Chevron Environmental Management Company hereby gives notice of a minor modification to the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. Basically, it has to do with the Texaco properties down on where the old Texaco refinery was, and it has to do with the CAMUs. Basically, it has to do with the properly closing corrective action and for a facility-wide corrective action. So they're just modifying the permit for the state of Illinois. Any persons requesting the agency to review any modifications to the RC permit, contact for the agency is provided in the supplemental information on the reverse side. If anybody wants to contact them, the facility mailing, the facility mail phone number is 815-838-0770, extension 11. The agency contact is, phone number is 217-524-3288. And the permanent repository of all the information is held at the the Romeo, that's right. It's the LOckport Public Library, White Oaks Public Library District at 121 East. Another thing, I did receive a couple of thank you letters. This some things you've done right, maybe. She just appreciates the newsletter that we sent out. She, through that newsletter, she got involved, got in contact with the cost-cutting crew, and they came out and did a wonderful job for her, and she wanted to thank the township for putting that information out for her. The other one is for, we have some women that come to the building every Wednesday, and it's a little club. They come and weigh themselves, and then we go out for breakfast. But she did thank us for allowing her to come and use the room on Wednesday mornings. That's all I have for today. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up tonight? Hearing none, I would ask for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion by John, second by Michael. All in favor?